Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to share my TBR list for the month of February, and I'm basing my TBR on what I read in January. So if you're curious how many books I read and what I read, you can go back to my last video about what I read in January. So let's kick it off. My plan for this was to be realistic and make sure that I'm not putting too many on my plate for the month of February. In January, I read 3 books, and like I said in my last video, I wasn't expecting to get through 3 books, which when I look on like Book Talk, Bookstagram, BookTube, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people read a lot more than 3 books. And while I would love to read more than 3 books in the month, I think it's best for me to set a realistic goal because I am such a beginner and I do enjoy reading, but I don't want to overexert myself in reading and put these expectations on myself that are just unrealistic. So my goal is to make a realistic goal that I think that I will be able to hit by the end of February. Without further ado, my first book that I am planning to read in February is the prequel to the book We Were Liars, and the prequel is called Family of Liars by E. Lockhart. I really loved We Were Liars. I gave it 5 stars. The ending just really shook me, and if you want to know more about that, watch my last video. So I was very interested in reading the prequel. My assumption is that it's going to give a little bit more about her family history because, you know, it says we were always liars. So it makes me believe that like more than just her and the liars were lying, and there's more to the story. So I think it's going to go backwards. Obviously, that's why it's a prequel and not a second book. But I do see that on the family tree, they have a little bit more characters, more information. So I think I'm definitely going to have to keep tabs on that family tree because I had a hard time last time kind of keeping up with the family tree. But the visual really, really does help. My guess for how many stars I'm going to give this book, I believe I'm going to give it 4 stars. The first book was 5 stars, and for her to write 2 5-star books would be fantastic. But if she doesn't, I'm going to say 4 stars. That way I'm not letting myself down when it's not a 5-star book. So that is book number 1. Book number 2, I've heard some rave about Emily Henry. So I picked up one of her books from Target and am going to kind of see how I like her writing and what I think of this book before I pick up any of her other books. So this is just the first one that I picked up. So book number 2 on my February TBR is Beach Read by Emily Henry. From what I know about this book, it's about 2 authors that have 2 completely different writing styles, and they apparently meet at the beach and end up helping each other finish a book, and it is a romance. So we shall see how this book goes, and maybe on my March TBR I might have another Emily Henry book if I enjoy reading this book. This book, I think I'm going to give 3 stars. I'm not sure it's going to be completely my taste, but I will be surprised if it is a 4 or 5-star book. My guess is 3. The last book on my TBR is one that is a little out of my comfort zone. I'm not sure that I am going to enjoy it as much as some of the other books that I have read before. Haley Pham is the one that read through this series and recommended it, and it's Little to No Spice, which I like. So my third book on my February TBR is A Court of Thorns by Sarah J. Maas. This is more of a fantasy. It says that it is a seductive, breathtaking book that blends romance, adventure, and fairy lore into an unforgettable read. I really think it would be nice to get into a series. So I'm reading this book that's out of my comfort zone. I'm still new to knowing exactly what I like and don't like in a book. So I want to give this one a chance, and hopefully I'll have some really good books to read throughout the next couple of months. If you've read this before, let me know your thoughts down below. Even when I bought it at Barnes & Noble, it was like, this is a series you're not going to be able to put down. But I don't know. I just want to know your thoughts. I want to know, have you read this book? Have you read the series? What are your thoughts? What did you give it in a Goodreads rating? For this book, I hate to do this, but I'm just not sure that it's going to be exactly what I like. So I'm going to say I'm going to give this a 3-star. I would probably go lower just because I've never read anything like this, and I just don't know. The whole realm is just new to me, the whole genre. I'm going to hope for a 3-star read, and maybe I'll even get a better rating after I read it. So those are the 3 books that I have on my TBR for February. I have some other books that I'm slowly working through. They're more like informational rather than pleasure reads. So I would be willing to sit, for an hour and read a pleasure read, while these other informational reads, I think I need a little more time to let it soak in, really think about what it's saying. So the other 2 books that I'm reading, the first one is Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And this I have actually gone through before, and I felt like I needed to go through this book again. And I felt like what is said in this book, you could read it once a year and it apply completely different. It's in a much different place when I read this the last time. So reading it as like a married woman is a little bit different, and I would recommend this book just to keep on your shelf and refer back to, because it does have a lot of wisdom in it. The next book that I am slowly going through, which is not really on my TBR, is How to Raise the Perfect Dog by Cesar Millan. So Davis and I have decided to get a puppy this summer. So I really wanted to be knowledgeable and I just didn't want to do the wrong thing. And I don't want our puppy to be a puppy that is annoyed by other people or doesn't have boundaries. So I wanted to read this book just to make sure that I know what I'm getting myself into. I know what to expect when our puppy does come home. So that is everything for my February TBR. I hope you enjoyed my festive February shirt. And if you did, please like this video, comment down below. Also comment if you have read this book and let me know your thoughts. I'm very, very curious about this book, and I hope that I like it. And as always, subscribe to my channel if you like seeing my videos, and I will slowly be perfecting my craft and learning new things to do when I'm making a video. So this is only the beginning, and I am very excited to continue sharing all about the books that I'm reading. So I hope everyone has a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one.